She cares about politics, my sister. She didn't used to. She came into it. I've been involved in politics since I was a teenager. I was involved in partisan politics until my early 30s, and then I became involved in issue based politics, which is where I find myself now. And I watched her over the years go from sort of disinterested into interested and then into activist in her party. And what I saw in that process was elected officials or people who wanted to be elected, there's a bird, preying on people's fear and providing certainty in an uncertain world. And I think that does so much damage to our communities, to families. What brought her into politics was just like the same thing that brought her into the church that she's in, which is a really high control religious church, and that is certainty. So elected officials and church officials were doing the same thing, which is providing certainty in an uncertain world, but also ginning up the fear needed to provide the certainty. I used to joke all the time that we got opposite genes because we look opposite. Our interests have always been sort of opposite. For example, I'm 5'8", have red, auburn, curly hair. She's 5'4" and has thin, straight, blonde hair. So just, right, like at every level, we kind of got opposite genes. And I wish that I could be excited that she was involved in politics and getting people elected and really involved in that. If I want to ever hurt my own feelings, I go look at her Facebook. She unfriended me, by the way, in 2011. And so I've seen people getting involved in elected politics, bringing people together. It's how I've met some of the closest friends in my entire life. But it also hurts communities and hurts families. And now politics has become so much intertwined with people's identities. It's hard to break free. I think the only reason that we still talk is because she and I are the only ones left in our family. And so we just have set that aside since about 2015 and don't talk about it. We don't talk about much, really. But elected officials are preying on fear, and they're getting into office and still exacerbating that fear. So I have conversations with my nephew that are a little bit more approachable, and I ask him, right, does what you're involved in demand certainty, demand loyalty, or can you be curious? Because staying curious is the opposite of being judgmental, and that's the space that is hard to live in, but is a much better life.